Alright, hello you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna be, as you could tell from the thumbnail, I'm gonna be talking about who we are as, I don't say black people because that's stupid. Who we are as a race or nationality of people, because they classify us as black people, but I don't say that because it's like you call someone who's Asian yellow, or you call, like, imagine walking up to someone saying like, "Oh, what are you?" And then a Asian is like, "I'm a yellow person." Nobody says that, bro. Only it's normalized that we say black or white person. But anyways, I'm gonna get into that later. So I have so much to talk about, but as you see from the thumbnail, on the left side, it is what culture pushes as an agenda for what they want us to look like. And they know who we are. Like, the people who own the record labels, the people who own the music industry, the people who basically run the world, the people who own the people behind the cameras, the people who own the people behind the cameras that record the music videos, the people that own the music stations, like the radio stations to push out this stuff, the stations on TV for to push out the videos or whatever, like MTV or something. The people who own all these things, we don't own this stuff, bro. We don't own this stuff. So the people who own it are the ones who are pushing the agenda to make you think like, oh, so since we don't know who we are, it's to make us think like, oh, I'm to be Megan Thee Stallion, or I'm to be like a Sexy Red, or I'm to be like a Young Thug or Gunna or Moneybagg Yo. That's who my culture is about, like chains and flashy car, doing the money spread, getting a bust down, using a dude for his money, and super unnecessary long weaves because they make us hate our hair. And don't come for me in my hair, be like, your hair's short, you can't say nothing. It's like, my hair used to be longer than this in my older videos, but I cut my hair because dealing with our hair is not easy. And since I'm not to make an excuse of like, oh well, black people's hair, I'm just saying that's how people call us. Black people's hair is hard to deal with. It's nappy and all that stuff. I ain't saying like that, but it's like it's like easier to manage when it's super short. And plus, like, wash day, and it's a chore. It was always a chore for me. It'll take me like 2 hours to come up to like wash and style. And since I look like young anyways, people don't be thinking I'm 28 years old. They already think I'm super young. So all the hairstyles I would use, they will make me look younger, or they will just keep me looking young. Unless I do like maybe a protective style, but that costs money too. So I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do this because it's more manageable. So yeah, but they make us hate our hair and all these things. And those things have caused cancer as well. Like the stuff that they do into the wigs and the braiding hair and all these things. But anyways, so the people who own these companies that push out all this ghetto ratchet music and stuff, so-called music and stuff, are who people claim today to be. And I don't want to say the word because YouTube be doing too much. But who people claim to be the JEWS over there in Israel right now. And you might be like, but those are who the people are. And it's like, no, they're not. Because if you look through history and you research where they came from, I don't know if I can say this word, but whatever, their original, who they are is they're from Khazaria. which is, I'm pretty sure is a place in Europe, and they're called Ashkenazi. I won't say the word Jews, and I think Ashkenazi means just letting you know that they're from Europe. And so those are who basically own everything. Like the Zionists, Jews, they the ones that they know who we are as people, which is why they're pushing all these agendas. And you might be like, you can't say that that's who they are because those are God's people. And it's like, no, they're not. Literally, I'll talk about religion first. For one, I always thank God he blessed me to be inquisitive and just always searching for the truth, always trying to figure out what does this mean, and this don't make sense. And that's how it was when I was growing up with my mom and stuff, and we'd always be arguing and it'd be drama because I would be like, this doesn't make sense, and this isn't right, and this isn't fair, and that shouldn't be happening this way. And not to say I was always right, but the times it was just like, no. It was basically, she wouldn't tell me shut up. She never told me that, but it was basically like, shut up, you're the child, I'm the parent type of thing. And I was just like, no, I'm not going for that, because I was like, what I'm thinking makes sense. It makes sense. So I'm like, I'm standing on it. And so God always had me be inquisitive and sitting up here questioning everything. I've always been doing that. Question everything. And why is the world the way it is? Why do people believe how they believe? Why do people act this way? Why is this the way it is? Why we gotta go to school? Why are we learning stuff that don't matter? Why we gotta sit up here and have a 9 to 5? Or why we gotta sit up here and go to college? Why is it okay for us to be in debt? Why are we supposed to work till we're almost dead? And then we're supposed to have our retirement. Then we're supposed to have our freedom to live how we want after we gave them all our good years. And why are there so many different denominations and everybody talking about they know who God is, but they all have one Bible, but they all believe something different? And so I've always been having these kind of questions, right? And it just led me to the truth, which is Jesus. And when people get into the fact of that's not his name, and the Hebrew name was Yeshua, and people say Yahuwah, but I don't believe that one. I believe Yahweh, Yeshua, and I'll just stick with those for now. But yeah, so I don't get into all that because I know, I hear that, I'm like, okay, you're right, that makes sense. And how we shouldn't be saying Jesus because that's the, I guess, Europeanized or whatever way to say his name. But I'm like, I'm still saying Jesus because I know what worked for me. With Paul saying, who deceived you that you went and found another foolish Galatians? And I'm calling Jesus' name got me to where I am today. If you knew me in my worldly days, you would not know who I am right now. And I've had dreams of sleep paralysis several times, and I call on his name and I wake up. So I ain't getting into all that stuff. All right, you do what you want to do. I'm still saying Jesus' name, okay? So that's what Jesus been helping me with, just learning all these things and coming to just the truth about the world. And so when it comes down to religion, I don't get into all that stuff. I was raised Seventh-day Adventist, and now that I've been learning about just religion and all type of different, So yeah, I've just been learning about the foundation of like Christianity and just religions and denominations and all these other things. And it's crazy stuff. So I don't claim to be, and before you sit up here and say, oh my gosh, you believe in what, Allah now or something? No, bro, I believe in the Lord Jesus. I believe in God. I believe in Yahweh, the word of the Lord. Okay, that's what I believe in. The maker of heaven and earth, creator of all things. That's the only one I believe in, the true God. So don't get me mistaken when I say this. But I don't claim to be like I'm a Christian, like a denomination, or I'm a Seventh-day Adventist. I don't claim to be none of that. Because the more I've been thinking and questioning stuff and learning things, I've been seeing how it's like Rome is like the mother, right? And then you have all these denominations are like her daughters. And all these and the Seventh-day Adventist Church they are the remnant church and all these things, and I'll touch on like stuff about it because not everybody knows about Seventh-day Adventists, but they say that they're the remnant church, right? But they are a sect of Christianity, which Christianity is a mixture of Greek philosophy and pagan traditions and the combination of that with the Hebrew belief, the Hebrew original way of the Bible, which is Hebrew. It's a Hebrew book about us. But anyway, so that's what it's a mixture of. That's why people be still sitting up here having pagan holidays. People, when God didn't never tell us to sit up here and follow the way of the heathen, and people want to argue about paganism and like, oh, it's okay to celebrate Christmas when God never told us to do that, and He told us to stay away from traditions of men. I think that's Colossians 2:8 that says that, but He tells us to stay away from traditions of men, and you have those two things. It's pagan, and He told us to stay away from traditions of men. He never told us, three really. He never told us to celebrate pagan holidays, and most famous one is like Christmas. And in my church I've been raised in, they be doing that. And I always was like, my mom, she never celebrate pagan holidays. She knew who we are. She knew who we are because it's not passed into who we was. But she knew who we are. When she was here, she raised us to know who we are. She raised us to know what Revelation 2:9 was meaning about who the fake JEWS are, and she raised us to not get into all those pagan holidays because she knew it's is rooted in like just satanic stuff. And people want to argue about those two things. Like you want to argue about somebody tell you like Christmas is pagan. You want to argue, be like, oh well, I believe it's about Jesus and I celebrate it because it's Jesus' birthday and I'm remembering that it's about the Lord and we're celebrating Him and all this stuff and His birthday. All you talking about is you. And the fact that you know it's pagan is like, it's literally demonic. Look up what pagan means. Look up the history of Christmas and all pagan holidays. And read your Bible, bro, front to back. Like, don't read parts and all this stuff. But anyways, I know I'm all kind of all over the place. But yeah, so I was raised in a church, Seventh-day Adventist church, right? And they doing that, and you're like, and you're wondering like, why is, well, I won't say you, but me, I was wondering, like, why are we celebrating this and we're supposed to be the remnant church? Because they claim that they're the remnant church in the Bible. But the remnant in the Bible is Israel. The remnant in the Bible is God coming back for his chosen people. And the people that are grafted in, I literally just lost my train of thought. But he coming back for Israel, Judah, and everyone else who grafted in. And it's not to say just because you find out like, oh my gosh, so I'm not just descendant of a slave or whatever. That's not just who I am. That, oh, now you're like, well, I'm Hebrew or I'm Hebrewist. So I'm gonna go around here and, be prideful. And now I think about it, I'm glad God brought to my mind, I am not part of these Hebrew Israelite people that be in the camps, that be talking about God hate everybody else who's not a so-called black person, and that God only care about us and nobody else. Everybody else not finna go to, let me not say go to heaven. It's really God coming back and making a new earth and a new heaven on earth. But anyways, so yeah, I ain't into all that, because the founders of that Hebrew Israelite movement camp stuff is literally Masons. So I don't mess with those people. The fact that they're talking about who we are is true, but other than that, anybody who believes that, anybody who believes on the Lord will be saved. Like, it's not to sit up here and say, oh, just so, like how they be saying, like, yeah, anybody who's white is not going to be saved. No, like God said, you can be grafted in. So we're regrafted in, because since we want to sit up here and do what we wanted to do, keep worshiping all these pagans stuff and the heathen, following after them and rebelling against him and then killing his son, we still have to be regrafted in as well through faith. And everybody else who's not of the original Abrahamic covenant is grafted in, because they're not of the original covenant. So that's what the Bible is. It's literally a book about Hebrews. It's literally a book about so-called black people. But they want you, the fake JEWS people, want you to think that you're just a slave, you're just a thug, you're just, low solo, ghetto, trash, you don't matter, and you probably still be like, well, I don't believe what you're saying, because I was raised to sit up here and believe that those people over there in Israel are who the people of God are, and that's what it is. And it's like, no, bro, look up history. I'm gonna leave so many videos and links for you to look up what I'm talking about, because it's all the information is out here. We're literally in the age of information, so there's no reason for you to sit up here and be deceived. Like, look it up, bro. Everything I'm saying, look it up. And everything that I sit up here, the videos I've been put in the description box and stuff, look up what they're saying as well, because it's facts. It's not a lie. Like, it's literally facts. And the Bible is the biggest fact. So, matter of fact, I'm finna go to my Bible right now, and then I'll talk about like Seventh-day Adventists, SDAs and their beliefs and all that stuff, and how, since they're a sect of Christianity, which was founded with the mixture of, like I said before, pagan beliefs and Greek philosophy, and mixed with the Hebrew stuff, Hebrew beliefs. That's not it's just a mixture. It's like a little bit of truth mixed with Satan's lies. So I'll talk about that later. But I'm going to Deuteronomy 28. Okay, turn with me there. Okay, so Deuteronomy 28, and yes, this is a Bible. In case you think I'm lying. And I honestly don't care if you think I'm lying or not, because the Bible is the truth. The Bible is literally talking about a people. Okay? It's made to sit up here with the whole mixture thing, like I just mentioned. They make it to where it's, oh, the Bible is about Christians, and the Bible is about anybody who believes on the word becomes a Christian. Anybody who believes in Jesus, the white Jesus, which is literally Caesar Borgia, if I pronounce that right, which was the Pope's gay son. Anybody who believes in him, they will be able to go to heaven when they die, or go to heaven when he comes back for us. And he's just going to judge the sinners, and we're all going to go to heaven in the end. It's like, no, it doesn't say that in the Bible. That's not what the Bible says. The Bible isn't about Christians. The Bible is about, you might be like, well, it says Christian in the Bible. The Bible is translated from Hebrew to, let me see. For one, if I get something wrong over here, I'm not no historian, okay? I just know a lot of things. So, the Bible is translated. That's all I'm going to say before I say something wrong. But, I'm going to read Deuteronomy 28. I don't know if I'm going to read the whole thing, because it's 68 verses. But, so you can see that I'm not lying. You see right there, Deuteronomy. Okay? Now, it says, Deuteronomy 28. Reciting the blessings for obedience. Let's skip down to curses. Verse 15. Alright, we have a Bible study sect on here. So it says, but it shall come to pass, verse 15, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Now, before I keep going, this is talking about what happened to us as so-called black people. If you want to sit up here and think I'm wrong, since those people over there are who he's supposedly talking about right here, the people over there in Israel, tell me how any of this applies to them. I'll wait. And tell me how all this stuff applies to so-called black people. Alright, now moving on. Verse 16, cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shall thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shall thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee, until he have consumed thee from off the land, whither thou goest to possess it. The Lord shall smite thee with the consumption, and with the fever, and with the inflammation, and with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue thee until thou perish. And thy heaven that is over thy head shall be brass, and the earth that is under thee shall be iron. The Lord shall make the rain of thy land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon thee until thou be destroyed. The Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thine enemies. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. So, removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. For one, our news be lying to us because they own the news. Those fake JWS people own the news, alright? Um, if you research how we're treated in all parts of the world, you will see the correlation of how we're not just treated like with the shootings over here by the police, or the racism, or the redlining, the just stuff like that. It's not just here in America, it's everywhere in the whole world, bro. And when you realize that, you're like, wow, I didn't know that, because they just make it seem like it's just us over here. And it's like you said, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth, because we were supposed to be worshiping him in Jerusalem. And if I got that wrong, don't come at me. But we're supposed to be worshiping him in general, right? But we just kept passing our sons and kids through the fire, sacrificing them to Moloch, and that's what we'll be doing now. And that's what they do. They promote all this garbage music so you can have, sleep around, and then you don't want to have the child, and then you sacrifice the child, and you have curses come on you because you killing these innocent children that you claim is just tissue. Like, anyways, God said before he formed you in the womb, he knew you. So, yeah. Alright, so let's continue. And thy carcass shall be meat, verse 26. And thy carcass shall be meat unto all the fowls of the air, and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. The Lord will smite thee with the botch of Egypt, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch, whereof thou canst not be healed. The Lord shall smite thee with madness, and blindness, and astonishment of heart. And thou shalt grope at noonday, as the blind gropeth in darkness. And thou shalt not prosper in thy ways, and thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. Oh, I wonder who that sounds like. Thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. Why do you think we out here looking like the ghetto, bro? Why do you think we out here? We don't know who we are. We killing each other in Chicago. We killing each other, and the projects. We killing each other in the hood and all this stuff because we don't know who we are. We hate each other. We literally just, we literally just lost, bro. Literally. If we knew who we are, we wouldn't be sitting up here killing each other. But, yes. And you sit up here driving a town or city, you have the rich upper neighborhoods, whatever, and then you have the ghettos, which is usually full of black people. Okay? That's what he said on here. Thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. Thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. When people be like, oh, black people lazy, black people don't want to work, black people just eat off the government. Most of the people that eat off the government are white people, bro. And we don't even, how is the people who are, whatever you want to call minority in this country, the ones who are profiting off of the government the most? That's not even possible. Even if it's like 13% of us over here or whatever, even if all 13% were doing it, that wouldn't even outnumber the other 77%? No, what is that? It's 87%, right? Hey, don't get on me. 87%. It's not possible. So, yeah, but anyway, next point. Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Stop right there. What happened in slavery? Oh, I'll wait. I'll let it sit in. What happened in slavery? Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Think about without it. Exactly. Next line. Thou shalt build an house and not dwell therein. And this is the curses. Yeah, it says it right here. Verse 3. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Slavery was literally mostly about sex. Like, let's be for real. What they try to tell you, oh, it's about picking cotton. It's about them building houses and building the nation. That is true, but that's not what it's mostly about. It was about sex, bro. The pagans, they worship Satan. And Satan is all about sex worship, bro. And so think about like a man who is just evil and he has the right to have as many slaves as he wants any age. And you mean to tell me he not sitting up here sleeping with these people? He's just like, no, you just go pick cotton. I'm gonna go in the house, read a book. No, bro. A man who sat up here, he's not even considered, I don't even give him the title of a man. A male who sat up here in his messed up mind says, I'm gonna get me slaves, little boys, little girls, women, men. I don't care about the age. I'm gonna sit up here, make y'all my slaves, and do what I say, or I'm gonna kill you. The bucking, the lynching, the eating of us, the making our body parts, our skin be like furniture, the putting us on like display in like museums or whatever, our teeth and stuff, hanging us and calling like picnic and eating, seeing us hanging from trees. Yeah, I keep going. What else? Like putting our heads on like spikes and putting them down the road so you could see it while you're going down the road. You can look up these pictures or just watch history stuff and you'll see the putting the feeding babies to the alligators, having us in like type of like museum type of thing where it's like entertainment, like a not arcade but like festival type of thing. And you have you have somebody sitting on something and then you're trying to hit this little circle and then the person falls in the water. They had that. They would sit up here, tie us to a horse and have the horse go one way, the other way, and tear us apart, throw us on the fire, all these things. And you telling me he wasn't out here just taking advantage of these people? Okay. So, yes. Anywho, and you tell me God not gonna sit up here and judge what happened to us? God not gonna sit up here and judge what all the world has done to his people, all the world has done to, I'm just saying black people, because that's what everybody calls us, but that's not what I believe we are. We are Negroes, we are Hebrews and Hebrews. All right, argue with your mom. So you tell me you're not going to judge people for that? They had stuff in ships, in transatlantic slave trade. They had stuff in ships like sardines. And you know who owned the ships? I'll tell you who owned the ships. The people that y'all claim are the real JWS. They owned them. They owned most of them. They were the ones in command of them. They were the ones that provided the ships. They were the ones that were really in charge of the slave trade. They were the ones that knew, oh, after we ran out of, I think after we ran out of Israel, if I'm mistaken, hey, there's a whole lot of stuff I'm trying to say in one video, But after we ran out of, I think, Israel, Jerusalem, whichever one, we ran down into, after the destruction of Jerusalem, 70 AD. After we ran out of that, we ran to Africa, and we were in West Africa. They knew where we are. They didn't just go to Africa and be like, oh, let's go over here to this part. Let's go over to that part and get this type of black people. Let's get this type of black people over here. Let's get that type of black people. No, they got a specific type of people, which was us, because we were cursed. All right, those Zionists, JEWS, are the ones who did it. And I have the article, bro, to sit up here and put in my description, and you could research it. It's out here. It's out here, bro. Look up history. They sit up here and make you think it's about like, oh, white people did this to us. White people did this, and it's always like white people versus black people. It ain't no white people versus black people. It's Israel versus us, God's people, versus the Rev 29s. All right, I'll call them Rev 29s. I got that from a guy he's like historian, and he be dropping all this knowledge. He called them Rev 29s. In Revelation 2:9, those who call themselves JEWS but are not, but are of the synagogue of Satan. Okay, that's who them Zionist JEWSs are. That's who they are. Research it, bro. Look it up. You don't believe me? All the history out here. Okay, what they be doing, the pedophilic stuff they into, the trafficking of kids and humans, what they do to the bodies, putting it in the food, and I'm gonna drop the link for that too, because there's a video of him, one of them fake JEWS people saying what they be doing with, I think in Passover or whatever. So yeah, all right, and you're like, well, I don't know, this is kind of a lot. I don't know, this is crazy. Why would this be? It's because people have been taught to believe that's who God's people are. And cats outside beefing. But people have been taught to believe that's who God's people are, when in reality they are literally, like God said in the Bible, of this Revelation 2:9, they're of the synagogue of Satan. They worship him, bro. They follow the Talmud, which is the diabolic, disgusting, evil book. And people believe that that's who God's people is. And you'd be like, well, what happened with Hitler and them then? Those are the same people, bro. Those are the same Khazarians. Those are not God's people. Those are the same Khazarians. And that all happened so they can sit up here. I think it was the UN promised Israel that they would give them the land of Palestine after that so they could have a homeland. And I think the Rothschilds bought the land, and it was some type of deal like that. And you wonder why they fighting over there? Because they want to have somewhere to stay. That's their homeland. They want to go back over there. And we've been taught to believe that that's who God's people is, when they always in war. How God say thou shalt not murder? They always in war. They don't have peace because they're not God's people. They literally are not even, they don't have melanin, bro. How are you from Africa, from Egypt, whatever you want to call? How are you from these hot places and you have a lick of melanin in you? You will die in the sun for too long. This is proven fact. Like, they get skin cancer. Like, this is stuff that I'll be talking about, bro. They don't even have the physical makeup to exist in a hot climate. Like, this, people don't be using their brains. Like, think, bro, use your brain cells. Okay? I know the food, so-called food they give us be making us slower. I know the jobs and the work be making us not want to sit up here and research and learn for ourselves. I know the TV just program you, the phone is addicting. I know, bro, but please, use your brain. They always in war. They don't even have melon to sit up here and allow them to be in the hot climate. Anyways, yeah, I don't want to tangent. Back to this. So, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. Thou shalt build an house, and thou shalt not dwell therein. Thou shalt plant a vineyard, and thou shalt not gather the grapes thereof. Deuteronomy 28 verse 30. That is literally slavery. Hello. We literally work to the bone, past the bone, and it was all for them to have it. Like, you might be like, well, it says thou and shall not gather the grapes. Well, they gathered them because they were slaves. Yeah, they gathered them to give it to them. They didn't gather them so they could keep it for themselves. Anyway, verse 31. Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Alright, this is... I had to think, I'm like, oh wait, this is not a curse word because it's in the Bible and it's referring to a donkey. Alright? Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes. And I don't curse, so I was like, do I say that word? I was like, wait, this isn't Bible, it's just referring to a donkey, right? Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto other people. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people. What was slavery about? All those times they set up here, took these people, families, separated them, shipped them all over the place. They had us in ships, bro, packed up like this, as tight as this. Ain't no separation. It was as tight as this. Most died. Can you imagine being packed in a ship, and it's just everybody just packed in here, packed in. People got diseases, periods, pooping, peeing, not getting fed, and that's what they did, bro. They brought us over here. And thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thy land, in thine hand. Like I said before, tell me tell me how this relates to them people over there, and tell me how it relates to so-called black people. Alright, I'll wait. Like, literally, there was no might in their hand because they were cursed. Their kids getting forgot the word. Their kids were getting took from them. Their kids were getting snatched from them, and they couldn't do nothing about it. Alright? The fruit of thy land and all thy labors shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up. And thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always. So that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. The Lord shall smite thee in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of thy foot unto the top of thy head. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation whither neither thou nor thy fathers have known. And there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Wood, Christian. Christian. And what is it about Christian? When have you ever heard a pastor talk about who we are in the Bible? Like, when have you ever heard a preacher sit up here talk about the Bible being about people, and not being a moral of the story, a good feeling sermon, and you go home? Like, when have you ever heard somebody tell you, this book is about people who kept rejecting their God, going into sin, and then their God cursed them, scattered them, and sent his son to die for them because he didn't want, he keep his covenants. God keep his covenants. And he died for them so that they would sit up here and have a way to be saved. And also, he died for everyone, not just say, but his objective, okay? His objective. He died for people because we kept sinning and going into rebellion. And he was sent to a people. What's that verse in Matthew? He was like, I'm sent only to the lost sheep of Israel. And that Cushite woman, I think she was like, my daughter, she needs help and all this stuff. And Jesus ignored her. He didn't say a word. Because he said, I'm sent only to the lost sheep of Israel. Lost sheep. Because we kept going into rebellion, worshiping other gods, when we were supposed to sit up here and follow the Lord and be a light unto the world, which were heathens, and basically show them the way of the Lord. But we kept doing what they were doing, which is why we got cursed. Which is why we still curse. And we're out here looking up to people like Sexy Red and the Baby and Meg Thee Stallion, and that's why they put these people in place, because they know who we are and they want us to sit up here and follow after these people, because we don't have no identity. Everybody else have an identity. Everybody else know who they are. So-called white person, they could be like, yeah, my people, they come from Ireland, or they're Scottish or something. We just sit up here, or an Asian person, they'll sit up here and be like, yeah, my mom is Asian. My mom is Japanese, Chinese, Malaysian, or something. And yeah, and then be like, so that's, my lineage, we're Japanese and stuff. And then Hispanic, be like Dominican, whatever, Puerto Rican. But what we be saying, oh yeah, I'm black. Oh yeah, I'm African American. Like, no, you're not. Like, you're not African American, bro. You're a Negro. You're from Negroland. And you can research that too. You can look that stuff up. It'd be hard to find a lot of stuff, but you can look it up. Like, it's literally it's literally proven. Even, how usually, I'll just stick with the term black, white, whatever. Usually white people or scholars, they'll be like, not want to sit up here and talk about the truth. So there are some white people that have sat up here and talked about Negroland and like where we're from, where we were taken from and brought over here from. There are some people that are white that actually have done that. So, it's one thing if a black person does it. It's another thing if even white people going against their own people, talking about who we are and talking about the truth of what their people did to us. So yeah, just look into all of it. All right. And don't sit up here and be in a slave mentality of like, oh well, the map said that Israel or whatever is over here, so how did that happen? Because they lie about everything. They lie about the maps, they lie about who we are. Satan runs the world, bro. The Bible says that he is the father of all lies. There's no truth in him. Okay? He prince and power of the air. The media. Okay? The airwaves, the radio and all this stuff. What make you think, and who owns these things? The Zionists. Okay? The elites, the evil people that serve him. Okay? What make you think he finna sit up here and he know who you are? He knows who you are. What make you think he finna sit up here and tell the truth? Like, he can't. Anyways, he'll mix some truth in with lies. But anyway, like I was saying about the church, the only pastor I've ever heard in my life talk about who we are is Pastor Stephen Darby. And I'll be trying to tell people to watch him, and they don't want to listen to it because they're programmed to believe what the world tells them. They're programmed to believe in religion. They're programmed to believe what they just been told, and it's like, you don't think for yourself. It's like, bro, the Bible literally tells you what it is. Stop looking at it from a Christian point of view and research the roots and history of Christian. First of all, research how it was started. Research Greek philosophy's influence on Christianity. Research all this stuff. And Plato in them was literally gay and thought it was okay for a boy and a man to be, messing around, and called it love. And that's who highly influenced Christianity with the Greek philosophy. So, like, come on, bro. We're like, don't sit. I was looking at my light. I'm like, is it dying? Don't sit up here and don't sit up here and let the strongholds and stuff come up in your mind and be like, no, well, I already know everything. Believing like I'm Christian and my church told me this and my pastor said this. Don't ignore all that stuff. And it's not to say that everything maybe your pastor or your church has taught you is wrong. It's to say it is wrong in general for a church, denomination, whatever, to sit up here and give you, they might not know, they just might be programmed as well and deceived as well, but to give you a piece of truth, but there's lies mixed in with it. So you're not fully understanding what you're believing. You think you're going one way, but you're not. And God said that Satan deceived the whole world. Christianity is literally, I think, 30-some% of the religions, and it's like the biggest religion in the world. And then I think next is Muslims. And there's different sects of Christianity. There's all type of things, You have, like for me, raised Seventh-day Adventists. You have Lutherans, Methodists, Baptists, Presbyterians, stuff like that. And they all have one Bible, but yet they all sit up here and have their own way of doing things, which is wrong. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. You're supposed to follow Jesus. Okay, why do we have all these denominations? Ask yourself that. And read your Bible front to back. Do not sit up here and rely on a pastor for your salvation. Do not rely on a religion for your salvation. Okay, this isn't to appear and bash your pastor or nothing, but it's to say we're supposed to follow Jesus, okay? Not man. We're not supposed to follow religion. We're supposed to have a relationship with Christ. And that's the problem with people. And we're also not supposed to appear, pick and choose what we want to follow in the Bible, pick and choose which books to read and apply and interpret it for how we want to live. Because the whole Bible, I think it's Timothy, the Colossians, I forgot. Thessalonians, not Colossians. Lord forgive me. But it said the word is inspired by God, and I forgot the rest of it. But it's something about how the word is the inspired word of God and is made to be, I forgot. But look up. Alright. I think it's in Thessalonians or something like that. But yeah. Read the Bible front to back, okay? And ask for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding while you're doing it. So before I finish reading this, what I was gonna say while I'm already on the topic of why I don't claim to be Christian, because I know the roots of it. I did sit here. I was unknowingly, you know, my ear, I unknowingly was going along with, you know, tradition, which we're not supposed to do. Let me look for that verse as well. I was unknowingly going along with that, of like, you know, you're raised in a certain belief, and you are raised to believe a certain way. You get saved, you're supposed to find a church home, and you're supposed to go to church every week or whatever and follow your pastor and da da da. And so that's what I was raised to believe. That's what we're indoctrinated to believe. And it's not to say, oh, don't go to church anymore. Be your own pastor or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, never mind. But just know that. All right. So that's what I was indoctrinated with. And so I was following this stuff, and then I started, you know, I was just questioning things. I always ask my pastor questions, and sometimes he would have answers, sometimes he wouldn't, and stuff just wasn't lining up or making sense to me. And I, you know, just kept reading my word, and the Bible, let's see, Colossians chapter 2, verse 8. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. I'll read that again. Beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy. Like I said, research the foundation of Christianity. Research Greek philosophies. What's the word? Influence on Christianity. Like it says here, Colossians 2:8, beware lest any man spoil you through philosophy and vain deceit, after the tradition of men, after the rudiments of the world, and not after Christ. Tradition of men. So I was like thinking so many things, and I love Pastor Darby because he literally gave you the truth and didn't care. All right, full servant of the Lord, bro. So, and was a history teacher, preacher, teacher, and there's so many things that he was talking about that I've learned before, because I always was searching for stuff, the truth as well, and just like the evil of this world, and just like learning about this messed up world and stuff. And you know, like I said, was raised Seventh Day Adventist and stuff.